Good morning, everyone. Say good morning to Lukey Duke. He has already been out and ran after his Kong a couple of times. Now he's back in bed. What time is it? It is about 5:45 a.m. But I think it was Lynn that asked, they said they wanted to see my latest project. So the coffee table was my latest project. So that's the thing I just finished last Thursday. I finished putting the last coats of urethane on it last Thursday, and then I let it harden all day Thursday, all day Friday, and then I set it back in place Saturday morning. So that's the last thing that I just finished. My latest project that's complete. I have that table over there that I have primed. So I have to finish that. And then you guys know that I've been working on this table, and the frame and the legs are all done, but the top, I'm still waiting for to get the urethane that I want for it. And you guys can maybe kind of slightly see it's just very lightly color washed with a little tiny bit of color. Can you see just a little tiny bit? And that is just to give it like a little bit of a grain look, but it's predominantly that creamy white, and then just this really very pale color washing so that it looks like it's got a little bit of wood grain. So that table needs to be finished up. And before I do that, I'm going to finish this. So Friday, I started working on this a little bit. I got the whole bottom of that put back together and glued in really tight, so it's nice. The frame is nice and tight all the way around it. But that's my next project. I got that on the side of the road. Imagine that. You can tell that it's been sitting outside. He probably had it outside for, I don't even know how long. There's not even a bit of finish on it. It's very weathered from where it sat outside for a long time. It was free for the taking. He had a bunch of stuff out there in a little table and a little can that said donations welcome. So my boyfriend's mother, this was my boyfriend's mother's, and a couple years ago, 2 summers ago, his sister, it was up in the top of her garage, she said, I can see you taking that home and doing something with it, Lorri, and making it, kind of sprucing it back up again. And I said, sure, I'll take it home. I'll take it home and do something with it. I love to sit in a rocking chair. So I took it home. Still haven't done anything with it. But, the plan is to do it. I've just been busy doing other things. And so I kept saying after I got that home, I wish I had two. I wish I had two. And the universe was like, all right, well, on this particular Saturday morning, why don't you and your boyfriend take this drive and go around this back road that you never go on? And that's kind of how it went. We went this route that we never go. And we found that. We're cruising down the road, and I spotted it. I spotted it, and I said, whoa, swing over, swing over. And so he did, and we got out, and it was just free for the taking, little donation if you want. And so we put some money in the can and grabbed it. And so Friday I got the base of that all glued back together good. And I got the screws out that held the arms in. And today I'm going to work on getting the screws, because those screws are coming out hard, to getting the screws out that hold the back in so that I can pull the whole backing off. And I'll get it all put back together with new screws and some wood glue. And then I'm going to paint it up. And I was, when I first saw it, because it is so weathered, I thought about filling those things, but I don't really want to. I really like the way that looks. And then, down here, there's stuff like this. And I'm just going to leave that. And that will seal in when I urethane it anyway. But whoops, we're blurring. Sorry, you guys. I'll back up. Very blurry. But I really like that look, and it will seal when I finish it up. So hopefully I'll get to priming on that by the weekend. It's just a matter of getting it torn apart, put back together, glued and stuff. And then I'll start working on it. But that's my next project, what I'm going to do next. And then, at some point I'll tackle this one and I'll do them so that they kind of somewhat match. This one's a little bigger. It's just a little different. It is bigger and it sits a bit different. I kind of say that's the king's chair and that's the queen's, because this one's a little small, just a little smaller. I can't find the company that made it, but I would be willing to bet the same company made this one as made that one. They're pretty much identical, just this one's really worn. So that's my next project, and of course, finishing that table over there and tackling that glider. I guess I'm going to have to tear that glider all apart and do it, and I'm going to give it a whirl at staining those seats, the seat cushions. I'm going to see. I'm going to see if that stains pretty good, like I did with those chairs. I still have 2 other chairs left to do as well. Gosh, I got so much to do. And I'm not going to get to the floor this year, you guys. I'm just not going to be able to. I'll probably try to polish it or something to make it just look better. It's pretty worn from all the years of coming in with the wood and filling the wood box and just a lot of, wood and tracking and snow and wet feet and lots of animals over the years, lots of dogs and kitties and kids. So it's pretty worn. We've got to put the stuff down in front of the door, and there's just a lot to do. But this is going to be my next project, and that's the one that I just finished. So that's the coffee table that I just finished. And this is a really cool, this is my sister gave this to me for my birthday. Let me show you. So I love this rocking chair. I love it. She got it at Goodwill. She said it was all falling apart. And it was pink. And she grabbed it and she put it all back together and she painted it up, and it was one of my birthday presents that she gave me this year. I absolutely love my rocking chair. And then we just put this little plant in it, and I think it's really cool. Love my rocking chair. So yeah, my sister made that for me. But the coffee table was my latest project. It just takes time doing it all, All right. Oh, he's sleeping. Oh, hi, baby. Hi, baby. Can you say hi? No, he says, I'm tired, Mama. I'm tired, Mama. He's all comfy. So that's what I've been up to. I'm going to bring you guys up, and I'm going to put you in the tripod, and we're going to start our reading for the day. So good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is the 5th. I'm going to flip you around, you guys. Get you in the tripod. You know what? I forgot my coffee. I'm going to pause you guys so you don't have to wait. Hold on. All right. Good morning, you guys. So, yeah. It is Tuesday. I didn't get on yesterday. I was really busy. It's Tuesday the 5th. Tuesday, the day that we call Tuesday. The date that we call the 5th in the month that we call August and the year that we call 2025. The healing intentions are always set for you folks, so if you so choose and you want that, go ahead. Stand in your power, breathe that in. Decree it for your highest and greatest good, only and always. Next thing, don't follow any links or any emails in the comment section of the channel. That would be scammers. Don't do it. All right, so let's talk about the sun again. So I told you folks last time that we talked that I would check it out and see if my dusk till dawn light came on that early the following night, because I did say that we'd had a storm, so it was a little cloudy that night. Not too bad. It wasn't like big black dark clouds or anything, but it had been cloudy. So trying to be fair, I waited to see if we would, what it would do the following night. Well, the following night we got back time. So Friday night it came on much later. And so I thought, oh, okay, so maybe it was just the storm. But then Saturday night, after a beautiful day, no clouds, just sun, beautiful day. And then again, Sunday night, no clouds, beautiful day. It went on, my dusk till dawn light came on at 8. So it's just weird. You don't lose time significantly like that one day and then gain it back the next and then lose it again the next 2. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just weird and it doesn't make sense. And it's August and it's not, the dusk till dawn light isn't going off until after 5 a.m. It's like 5:15 now. And it shouldn't be getting that dark in the morning at this time in August in my state. It just shouldn't. So anyway, it doesn't make any sense. No rhyme and no reason. So that's what's going on. We gained it back one day and then lost it again. It's very weird. It's just so weird, you guys. But anyway, I hope you're all having a beautiful morning. And I hope that you all had a great weekend. My weekend, like I told you, Friday I started working on that rocking chair. What I've also done, you guys, is I did get the trim to go around my front door down there in the family room, what used to be my living room, which I've turned into like a family room, sunroom. I did get the trim for the front door all primed, and I got the trim all primed that goes around that piece that we closed in that used to be open. It was a railing that went across there. It was an open archway once upon a time, until a couple of years ago when we decided to close it in just to make the house a lot warmer. And then we can heat that if we want, and we don't have to if we don't want. But yeah, it's made my life a lot warmer, which is nice. A lot warmer, and it also has made my life a lot cooler in the summertime, because that is the west side, so it gets a lot of sun and it gets pretty warm in there, and I can just close that door and I can keep it cool up here. And yeah, so it's made it more comfortable. It's made my life a lot more comfortable in the summer and in the winter. And I also, like, that was a good excuse to get rid of a ton of stuff. So it's made my life a lot more simplistic, because I don't have all of this shit that I need to clean. I mean, I barely have anything on the walls down there, and I'll barely have anything on the walls down there. So yeah, and we got rid of a bunch of stands and giant furniture. And my sister gave me that lounger that's down there behind the coffee table. She had gotten that, I believe it was 2020. She had bought it secondhand. Someone had bought it, had it for a week, and decided that they didn't want it down to Rent-A-Center. And so she went in looking for something, and they said, hey, this was actually sold they used it for a week, and then they brought it back, and we had to clean it and do all of that stuff to it. But if you want it, we'll give you a really good deal on it. And so she got it in 2020. She did have it in her craft room, but she does a lot of crafting, and she's acquired a lot of stuff over the last 5 years for her crafting. And it kind of ended up like she didn't have room for it in there anymore. She couldn't sit on it anymore and craft. She had crafts all over it because she has a lot of stuff for her crafting. And so we were over there one day, and she asked my boyfriend if he would help her boyfriend with getting it out, because she just really didn't have room for it. And I had said, what are you going to do with it? And she was like, I guess John goes, well, I think we should sell it. And I said, I think you should too. I said, I would buy it right now from you if I had room for it. But we were painting the sunroom down there, and that means, you know, you fix some popped screws and stuff like that. So there was mud and tape and tools and paint and ladders, and there was no way I had room to bring that in. I said, I'd buy it right now from you if I had room for it, but I don't. And so time has moved, and we've gotten quite a lot of the painting done down there. So there's not all this equipment down there anymore. And we were over there 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we went out into her garage, and I said, are you guys still going to sell this? And she goes, yeah, as a matter of fact, we were going to take it out by the road today and see if anybody wanted it. We were going to put like $100 on it. And I said, hey, if you can hold it for me, I'll buy it from you. I just didn't have the $100 in cash that day. And she's like, what, you want it? And I said, yeah, I could put it in my sunroom. There's room now because we didn't have all that stuff in there that we were, you know, using to mud and tape and patch and paint and prime and all of that stuff. So I said, yeah, I could put it in my sunroom. And she was like, well, if you want it, you can have it. And I was like, are you sure? And her boyfriend's like, no, if you guys want it, let's load it up. Let's load it up. You guys can have it. And so, yeah, we brought it home, and, you know, I just had to do a little bit of cleaning on it because it had been in the garage. And the other thing is she'd done some painting out there on some of her projects, and it did have a couple little paint splatters on it. I cleaned those right off. Yeah, so that was a awesome gift because often by the time we're having our evening, we usually go down there and have an evening coffee. By the time we do that, you guys, I am like, my body is spent. And I don't have cushions in those rocking chairs yet. And I do have the glider. But sometimes you just want to put your feet up, you know. And so that lounger was perfect. I sit right in that corner. I put my feet up. I sit there and I have my coffee. It's lovely. So yeah, that was an awesome gift. Awesome. Yeah, so there I babbled at you for probably near on 30 minutes. Who knows? I don't know. I can't see the little digital clock on the camera there. But yeah, so anyways, that's an awesome gift, and I keep messaging her every time I'm sitting on it, telling her how grateful I am. And Lukey Duke loves it too, so he gets up there and he loves it. So we're all happy. All very happy. So yeah, there's that going on with the time. I don't know how early you guys get up, but if you're noticing like discrepancies in the light in the morning as well as at night, just let me know. It's getting dark way too early in the morning. I mean, it's getting light way too early in the morning. Way too late. Jeez, I can't talk. I need more coffee, you guys. Hold on. It's getting light here way too late in the morning for this time of year. It's only the beginning of August. And it's getting dark here way too early in the evening. It's only the beginning of August. So there's my complaint about the daylight. Now let's take a look at the overall energy for the week with one card, you guys. Let's just let's just do a look at the overall energy for this week of August and see what we've got. A lot of people are telling me how tired they are, just wiped out, exhausted, and tired. And a lot of people are going through a lot of hard times right now, struggling one way or another, just really struggling. So let's take a look at the overall energy this week. One more shuffle and we'll pull a card. Well, we'll cut them, and then we'll pull a card. The overall energy for this week in August. Putting things behind us and assessing what's new with that Two of Rods. So that Two of Rods is always like part of this journey is behind us, put it behind you, and stand there kind of assessing things. So the overall energy of this week is assessing things. And maybe a lot of people are looking at their lives and figuring things out, figuring what serves them, what doesn't. I know that, I think that does apply to quite a few people that I know that seem to be going through their own personal dark night of the soul. And yeah, just assessing where to go and what to do from here. So that's the overall energy. Universally, it looks like a lot of people are doing that. And overall, that could be something that is going on world stage as well. Like, okay, we've gotten to this point, putting that behind us. Now we're going to assess as we move forward. So let's just pull a couple more cards there. 3 and 3 again. So 2, 3, and 3. Communities and creating happy endings. So, all right, so let's take a look at this too. So putting something behind us, assessing things as we're looking out sort of before we move forward in the world, right? And then coming together with communities, getting together with friends and celebrating, getting together with friends, maybe working together, helping each other, you know, talking about things, just communities, getting back together with people. It looks like as we look down underneath this Two of Rods, we've got this 10 of Pentacles. And it really looks like before we move forward, some things are going to come to pass. Like, so putting things behind us that don't serve us, assessing things, and then creating some form of happy ending, like coming back together with the communities and families, which is it's interesting. So basically what the universe is saying is put any grudges or any resentments behind us that we can, and try to reunite with, or unite with new friends and community, and unite with like family and friends, come back together. And maybe that's what we're going to be doing collectively, finding a way to come back together, because I know that I don't think I'm going to be coming back together with anybody that ditched me. And it's not that I wish them any ill will, I just don't think vibrationally we match anymore. And I know that sometimes that can happen, and then you cycle back, like people separate for a short time, vibrationally they just don't match, and then somehow they come back together. But over the last 5 years, the people that have left my life, not that I don't forgive them for the things that they've said or whatever, because I do. It's easier to forgive than it is to hold on to all of that crappy energy. But I'm kind of like one of those people, like, fool me once, shame on me, shame on you. Fool me twice, that would be shame on me. And loyalty is kind of a big thing for me. I'm a very loyal friend, and I will have your back, and, you know, I'm very loyal. And I don't really have a lot of room for people that aren't loyal. And I don't have a lot of room for people that are your friend today and have been for 10 years. And then all of a sudden they're like, because there's this brand new ideology that the whole world is dancing to because you don't agree with it. Now you're a bad person. I just don't have a lot of room for people that are that. My mother used to call it fickle, and my sister calls it fair-weathered friends. And I just look at it like they were never true friends. And I don't really have room in my life for somebody who's not a true friend. And I feel like the universe just kind of showed me who the true blues are and who they aren't. And so I'm okay with having put those people behind me and moving on and assessing things. But it does look like there is a chance for other people to come together. And it's not that like I said, it's not that I hold anybody any ill will or any grudges. I don't. It's just that in my particular situation, the way people have moved out of my life, I just don't have, I don't want them back in my life. I don't want them back in my life. Like, sometimes you look at things and it's like too much water under the bridge. I just wouldn't ever consider them anything more than a fair-weathered friend. And I don't have time for fair-weathered friends. Either I have a real friend or I don't. And that's just how I am. Maybe that's because I'm spoiled. I had the best, most loyal friend in the whole world, right up until he died when I was in 2013. And there's nothing that we could have said and done that we wouldn't have worked through and like asked each other about and sat down and talked about. And we never would have made assumptions about somebody's character, each other's character, just because we might not have the same ideologies or whatever. So I was really spoiled. I had a very true blue friend my whole life. I was blessed. And because of that, I just don't have room for this fair-weathered stuff. But it does look like some people may not have had separations that were that significant. Maybe it was just separations over fear, and maybe no mean words or things like that were said. And if that's the case, there it does look like there's a chance for people to come back together. So that's exciting for people that may have lost friendships just based on, I'm just afraid to be around you because you're not vaccinated, or who knows. It does look like there's a chance for celebration in the near future for people to come back together and end this old distance that was put between them. So I guess that's good news for a lot of you folks. And yeah, that's good. That's good for a lot of people. All right, so let's see. More coffee. I'm just going to get a universal message. And the reason why, you guys, is because there's a lot going on, and I've unplugged because I don't want to drag down my vibration. I want to be happy these last days of summer. I don't want to get caught up in the matrix. So I've literally unplugged, so I'm not listening to anything. I know that there's some stuff going on between Putin and Trump. But I've been kind of just in that Hakuna Matata, baby. Don't worry, be happy. Just pay attention to my own life and my own family and my own pets, and getting myself ready for winter, and keeping my vibration in a place where I'm feeling some peace, because like a lot of other people, there's been stuff going on in my own personal life that's, it's heavy. So I've been working to really stay upbeat and keep myself in a particular place. So because of that, I don't know the exact narratives. I don't have a particular question. But I do want to get a universal message because there's a lot going on with this Epstein stuff and the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff and the Putin and Trump stuff and so let's just take a look at the universal message for the world stage today and see what they want to say. True story, some insight, some clarity, some advice, something that will give us a bit of guidance in this crazy world stage drama that is playing out in front of so many people, right? So let's take a peek. We'll do a 7-card spread. We'll get a pathway. I'm going to shuffle them just this one more time. And I'm going to cut them. Oh. Wasn't this interesting? Can you guys see? You can see it. Perfect. All right, let's look at this pathway, you guys. So the pathway is all about vibration. It's the, well, it can also be about technology, prayers, words, thoughts, ego, vibration. Words, the mind, the words, thoughts, vibration, technology, ego, swords, okay? So the energy that's driving our pathway is the 4 of Swords. So that's, the 4 of Swords is literally like people are praying for something. People are praying for something. And it's like there's quite a bit up, but there's enough up so that people should be happy because you've got 3 swords up, right? And so 3s are joy. So there's always that, right? So there's enough up with those 3 swords up on the wall so that people should be happy. But there's something else that they're wanting, and so they're praying for something else to come up from the surface. Praying, praying, praying. With that 4, it's like this person who's praying is thinking to themselves, if I just get this one more thing, then things will be more balanced. They'll be balanced out. They'll be better if I just get this one more thing, right? If this one more thing comes up from the surface. And so that's the energy that's driving this whole reading. So people are wanting something. There's enough stuff right now so that they should be joyful, but they're wanting something more, okay? And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. And the Knight of Pentacles that's my workhorse. And this guy, he's a knight, he's a soldier. He's all suited up. And he's not racing or anything. This is Pentacles, the earth plane, so the world. He's not racing or anything, but he's working hard. This is a workhorse. And consistently and steadily over time, he just continues to work hard, work hard, work hard. And then above that, we have that Page of Wands. So it's like all of this fresh energy that's staring directly at that wand. And that wand is our physical day-to-day journey, right? So what this is basically saying is that the biggest piece of the energy that drives the pathway is people are wanting something more and not happy with what they've already got. And they feel like this has been going on. They've been waiting for this thing that they want so badly. They feel like it's been going on forever. And that it's been like, this has been a long, drawn out, hard fought battle of waiting and going and moving and working to get to this place of this thing that they want. And so the energy behind that is like, this has been taking too long. And the Page of Wands is like, the Page of Wands above that is like people staring at this physical journey, like just focused on what it is that they want. They can't take their eyes off of what it is that they want, and they can't stop thinking about how long it's taken. And so that's the energy of the pathway that my guides are wanting to talk to us about. And so then we start the story with the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is a very fair man, so fairness. So the story would start with, let's be fair, okay? So when we're talking about this type of a pathway, that King of Pentacles is, let's be fair, right? So fairness. The King of Abundance is the King of Pentacles is all about earthly plane abundance, right? So vegetables, berries, trees, flowers, birds, squirrels, like nature. Nature has everything that we need. That's considered abundance. There's a lot of green in this. He's very fair, and he wants everybody to be well taken care of. So that's basically the gist of things for the King of Pentacles. And when you're looking at that with a pathway like this, where people are really praying for something that they feel like they've been having to pray for a very long time, and they're hyper focused on it, when you start the story with the King of Pentacles, to me that's my guide saying, okay, so lots of people want something that they feel that they've worked hard to get, that they've been wanting for a long period of time, and they're highly focused on it. But let's be fair about something. Let's be fair and assess this fairly. Because above that King of Pentacles, we have that Wheel of Fortune, which is very karmic. It's great change happening within the universe. It's universal. And it's a 10. It's ending things with a very high vibration of that 1 and that 0. If you take that 10 and turn it into our numbers for numerology. Also, like X kind of marks the spot. X's things out. So, we're Xing something out. What are we Xing out, you guys? We're Xing out something incredibly karmic that's been inverted, basically, because with the Wheel of Fortune, everything gets turned back around. It gets righted, and this bad guy gets put on the bottom, right? He's like, for a while he'd been at the top, and now he's been put back on the bottom where he belongs. So he's being X'd out. So a negative energy, negative forces might have been on the top, kind of the overall energy or the overall ruling of something. There was this negativity that was on the top, and now the universe is saying, we've got to right this. That's inverted. You don't belong here. Higher vibrations belong here. And so we're going to right this and turn this back around and put you back on the bottom. And now let's come over and look at our pathway. Right in the middle, we have that Knight of Pentacles, right? So in order to do that, see how that's diagonally up? In order to do that job of ending things and righting things, it's long, hard work. And so they're saying, let's be fair. Let's be fair. We're ending a cycle where we're having to literally right something very karmically. And it's been a lot of work. So rather than focus on what we want, let's focus on what we're doing. So basically keeping our eye on the goal. Across from let's be fair, the King of Pentacles is saying, with this Four of Cups, we're staring at the 3D stuff. We're looking at the 3D stuff, and we're only focused on the things that don't make us feel very good. And the King of Pentacles would say, why don't you look up and see what's actually being done when you're not distracted by these things down here lined up in front of you. It would be more fair for you to look up and not stay so hyper-focused on these 3 things that are making you feel bad, but look up and see what's actually happening. Take your eye off of just exactly this one basic physical piece of your journey, and kind of look up and look around, look over here at the Wheel of Fortune, turn around and look up here with this 4 of Cups to see what's being done when you're not being distracted. Above the 4 of Cups, we have the 8. That's 8. That's infinity. That's going on forever. That's having some faith. With that 8 of Cups, like, he's walking away. He's got some passion, some vitality, some courage. He's walking away from these cups that are all set up that look fine. They don't look like there's actually anything wrong with them. But he can tell there's something missing. There's just something missing in his life that makes him not feel very good, because we're talking about cups, right? And down below that, we're also talking about the cups, like focusing on these cups, the things that are making you emotionally not feel good, being distracted with things that make you emotionally not feel very good, but not looking up at what is actually being done when you're so distracted by the stuff that you don't like and doesn't feel good. The universe is saying, walk away from that. Like, walk away from that which doesn't serve you, that makes you not feel good. Have some faith with that 8. Touch your intuition with that Moon. Heal that root chakra. This guy's all dressed in, red boots and a red coat. He's healing that root chakra, which is red, where you feel safe in the world. And he's just walking away from that stuff that doesn't serve him. He's listening to his intuition and his highest guidance with that 8 to kind of lead him where he needs to go. And so, I don't know, I guess a lot of people, we were talking about a lot of people struggling and having a hard time, and people have been depressed and literally going through their own dark night of the soul. And then we've got all of these emotional cards here, but it seems to me like the King of Pentacles is saying, to be fair, in order to right something that's been inverted, universally and karmically, it's a big deal with this karmic card, right? It takes a lot of long, hard work, and out of this long, hard work, much has already gone up. Let's be fair. Let's look at what we have already. Let's be fair and look at the work that's gone in. Let's be fair and stop looking at shit that makes us feel bad, and stop falling victim to the distractions, and actually look up and look around at some things that can make you feel better. Walk away from that which doesn't serve us. To our healing, have our faith, tap into our intuition, stay well grounded with those red colors. That's that root chakra, where we stay spiritually grounded to the earth. But a change of attitude is needed, it would seem, because we're only hyper-focusing on what we think we want rather than giving gratitude for what's happening. And we think everything's taking too long, but we're not really in a state of gratitude, is what I'm seeing here. And I'm not saying you or me, but this is like, this is something that's happening, and it's something that the universe wants to talk about. So let me get a sip of my coffee. And see if I'm delivering this to everybody the way the way they would like me to, and then I'll let them talk more off of that, because these types of messages are, in my humble opinion, the most important, because it doesn't matter what we have. We can have riches, we'd squander it if we don't, you know what I mean? We can have, I know so many people that have had so much more than me, and they've made really piss poor decisions and lost it, or didn't care for it, and just, you know what I mean? It's like, attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. And when we're in the attitude of gratitude, when we're not always looking outside of ourselves for what's next, when we can be happy and giddy about the things that we can see that are good, instead of always focusing on wanting, wanting, wanting. As long as we're always wanting, it's always out of reach. And, I guess I was talking about really having to fill ourselves up, and the world changes from inside us out, right? Our personal world changes, and the people around us change, and that saying, heal ourselves, heal the world, really does make a difference. It really is true. And that's when that really negative Nancy got on and told me I sat in my ivory tower. Yeah, my ivory tower. Having not know, she doesn't know a thing about my life, or she doesn't know a thing about my life, day to day, even what I'm going through. Most of you don't, because I don't sit and complain. But it's just kind of funny, the assumptions, right? That people have. And like, I don't complain because I don't want to get caught up in, I mean, my feelings are valid, and all of your feelings are valid when we're going through struggles and whatnot. It's valid. But I don't want to make that my own, the only piece of my identity is my hard times, right? I don't want to make that the biggest part of my life. I want to stay in the attitude of gratitude. I want to stay in love. I want to stay in joy. I want to be able to walk hand in hand with that joy and that love, even when I'm walking hand in hand with sorrow, right? Being able to do the two things simultaneously. My father always used to say, wish in one hand, shit in the other. What good does that do when we fill ourselves up with gratitude and we stop letting ourselves be influenced emotionally by things outside of ourselves? It does change things. And, saying that we have to take care of ourselves that way doesn't mean, because the negative Nancy was saying, you sit in your ivory tower and you don't care about the mentally ill, the poor, the children, or the starving. And how the hell does she know what I care about? She doesn't know what I'm doing in the world to help in any of those things, right? And you know what I'm saying? So that she's doing exactly what this is about. That negative Nancy, and if you're listening, you're doing exactly what this card read is about. You're wanting something out of reach. You think you've waited a long time and you can't stop focusing on it. And because you're in that attitude, that makes you hateful towards other people, even when you don't know their story, because you're assuming stuff. Because you're in the attitude of want, and then you gaslight and you try to make it sound as if you want it for others and not for yourself. And if that was the truth, if you really thought that my trailer and add-ons was an ivory tower, then you would be happy for me for having it, for working for it, and, doing whatever I could to obtain it and maintain it over the years. You wouldn't be nasty to me. And that's what this is about. It's that constant want. Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? And I'm using that negative Nancy as a example, because we have to step back into fairness, and these emotions of that wanting isn't serving us. And these emotions of thinking we've waited all this time and we're deserving isn't serving us. And just this constant focus on what we don't have rather than appreciating what we do is not serving us. So we have to be fair, and we have to see that there are big changes that are taking place, and it has taken a lot of work over time. And we have to be fair and walk away from these emotions that really aren't serving us. Walk away from these feelings that keep us in this lower vibration and in this place of not being happy with what we've got, but always praying for more, more, more. So I'm going to ask if I've got this right so far. And like the only pentacles here are the King of Pentacles. So I don't think this is necessarily, oh, we want money, we want things so much as, which it could be, we want better medicine, we want better food, we want better air, we want better water, we want those things. It could be all of those things, right? We want it to be a little less hard financially, I do believe, because we all want that. Everybody wants that to happen here on the earth plane. But we also have these swords. So with that, it could be wanting more news, wanting quite a few things that aren't here yet, and allowing that want for these things to make us feel low rather than maybe seeing what's already come in. So the driving force behind this is news. It's words, it's thoughts, it's ego. That's what's driving it. So our words, our thoughts, our ego could also be wanting more news, wanting more reveals, as well as wanting it easier on this earth plane. But let's just see if I'm getting this right so far. Yeah, I'm getting it right so far. Big card there. That is 11. So 1-1. Great awakening. High vibrations. Justice. Balance. Pull our vibrations up. So that's the secondary message with that. Yes, we really need to pull our vibrations up and balance ourselves out a bit. Let me get more coffee, you guys. We're not in a great place emotionally because we feel like this is taking too long to get what it is that we want, which is a better everything and more news. And the universe is saying, you got to walk away from that mindset. Stop focusing on the things that people are promising us. Stop focusing on the money exchange. Stop focusing on the riches. Stop focusing on technology that's not here yet. Stop focusing on news that hasn't spilled over yet. Stop focusing on the things that haven't happened yet, and understand that the work that's being done to bring things back around and right them is a long-assed hard process. So we've got to be a little bit fair. And for our own benefit, we've got to stop focusing on things that make us feel bad and walk away from that shit that doesn't serve us and really just tap more into our intuition and to our highest guidance with that 8 and heal that root chakra, because it is that root chakra is that chakra that says, I'm safe in the world, I have enough. I'm safe in the world, I can do this. I'm safe in the world, it's going to be okay. I'm safe in the world, look how beautiful everything is. When that root chakra is not healed, that's when you don't feel safe. I don't have enough, I'm in lack, I'm in lack, I'm in lack. You know, when people feel as though they're in lack, that's when they'll lose everything. Like, because they're aligning with lack. Like our vibrations, wherever we're at vibrationally, we have to be careful with our vibrations. And I know sometimes people are really working on their vibrations and they're doing really well vibrationally. And then all of a sudden the universe and things just kind of swirl together. And it seems like they get just this long ass shit train of bad luck that just kind of mows them down. And that would be what I call those dark nights of the soul, where we're stripped of things to rebuild us when we're going through great transformation. And literally we're being stripped down to nothing to kind of rebuild us into whatever we're going to be rebuilt into for the moment, because we're here constantly becoming, right? You know, and some people never have to go through moments like that, but everybody's paths are different, and the universe will break us to make us sometimes, depending on the path that we're on. But when we're in a vibration of not really caring about what we don't have, and we're focused on what we do, and we're feeling grateful for it, that can shift everything right there in a heartbeat. And we're being, and not only that, but we're just happier. Like, I think I shared this with you guys a while back. We were talking about how hard it's been on the earth plane for people. And I think we were talking about, you know, just how in my parents' generation, like my parents were born in the mid-30s, so they were going to kindergarten. I don't know that they did kindergarten back then, but like they would be 5 years old by 1940, right? So then they grew up through those 40s, and they were they taught me so much about handling money, making good choices, how to budget, how to stock up in store even when you don't have anything but pennies, how to stretch things, how to stretch food and meals and just stuff, you know, just stuff like, for instance, like, you know, potatoes, right? Grinding potato to put it into your hamburger meat and to stretch it way further. I mean, like, I'm serious. They taught me a lot. My parents had it really hard, and they went without. They didn't, you know, food. I'm not going to get into it all, but they had a hard time, my parents, and they taught me a lot, which has served me well, because it hasn't always been easy for me either, and I've been able to make choices, and I've known how to maneuver in this world, even when I didn't have 2 dimes to rub together, because of my parents' teaching. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for my parents. They really had it hard, but their lessons, and some people don't learn unless they learn the hard way, but I was one of those kids that was always watching and listening, and I listened, and I took that in. And I grew up, we didn't have a lot, you know what I mean? My parents struggled in my growing up. The 70s were not easy. And then the 80s, we had the trickle-down economics. And then my parents were sick. I mean, yeah, it was just never easy. So I consistently not only heard their stories, but I was watching and learning as we went. And no matter what, I'm able to stay in that attitude of gratitude. And I'm grateful because that was my parents' teachings. But it's very important for us to be able to do that, you guys. Inner peace will only come from within. Satisfaction will only come from within. Happiness will only come from within. We will only feel loved if we love ourselves. We will only be full if we fill our own cup. Does that make sense? I mean, it's just so important. So let's let them talk a little bit more. I feel like the world is like depressed right now. And no one can fix that depression except for us. That's the thing. We can't. So if you're feeling all depressed right now, if anybody is, tomorrow you could win the lottery and you could have all of this stuff. And I guarantee, you know, as soon as those endorphins stopped raging from this big high that you just rode, you'd be back down low again. You wouldn't be happy from within. You wouldn't be happy even though you just won the lottery and you have all of this stuff you think that you've been wanting. You still wouldn't be happy after the endorphins stop raging. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So this is really important about lifting our own vibrations and not focusing on what it is that we think we want so much and that we've waited so long for it and that things aren't fair. Because the King of Pentacles says we've got to shift our focus and lift our spirits and stop allowing ourselves to be distracted with what we don't have, or allowing ourselves to be distracted with what narratives are that we're wanting. Stop allowing ourselves to be distracted and start pulling in those things that are of a bit of a higher vibration that will make us feel good. Walk away from this shit that doesn't serve us and these thoughts and feelings that don't serve us. Let's look. Now, you know, this message may be for someone on the channel. It may not be, but we're getting an idea of an overall energy that our teams want us to know about. And so I'm just going to say we can all, you know, focus outside of ourselves a little bit for a while. Like I do it every night. Well, first I fill myself and then I send that energy outward and then I fill myself again. But we could all maybe spend some time sending out some good healing vibes and loving vibes, healing vibrations, healing energy, the joy vibration, because if this is universally our intentions going out into the collective, we can shift things, you know. We can shift the overall energy if enough of us are doing it. So we may be getting that message just so that we focus a little more on sending that outward. So let's just let's let them keep talking, you guys. But the second, even if this is outwardly and it's not just directed towards us, and no matter how high we're vibing, we can always lift our vibrations more and more and more, right? Because we're constantly becoming. But, yeah, it never hurts to send that out into the collective. So let's see. Faith. Spiritual. There's that song again. Have a little faith in me. All right. So, more of the story. Okay, so again, have a little faith. Have a little faith. Look up. Look to the heavens. Look up. This is a looking up. This is open your eyes and see. So, with the Four of Swords, it's like just you're laying there in bed, you're praying for something when there's already so much up there for you. So, open your eyes and see what's in front of you, right? And then the Four of Cups is you're only focusing on the things that are distracting you and making you feel bad. You're not looking up, looking over at things that will make you feel good that have come in from a higher vibration. And so then we have the Fool, the Fool who, you know, he's looking up. He has some faith. The little dog's keeping him grounded, purified, cleansed. So we got to look up. We've got to lift our vibration with that justice, that we don't have to do anything. Everything's by choice, free will. But it would benefit us, right? It would benefit us to lift our vibrations, open that crown with that 11, have that great awakening. Be appreciative for what's already here, what we've already got, the news that's already coming out, the way that it's being done. Be appreciative for what we do have here on the earth plane. Have gratitude. Don't focus. Look up to things that make us feel better, feel good. Don't focus on distractions that make you feel bad. Walk away from these things that do not serve you. Tap into this intuition. Tap into your highest guidance. Stop focusing every single day with this Page of Rods. Stop focusing every single day on what we don't have, as which was that pathway that's taken so long to get, and redirect our focus. Okay. All right. So with that Fool, remember I gave you guys all instructions the last time we were on how to spiritually ground, because spiritually grounding is far different than earthing, right? And it's really important, because the deeper we go spiritually, the higher we can fly. As above, so below, right? And we're living here, so we have to anchor in so that we can fly high. Does that make sense, you guys? So remember to do that spiritual grounding. But also, when you're lifting your vibration, see yourself cleansed, see yourself being washed in the white light, see yourself cleansed, because this little dog cleanses us, right? And heal that root chakra. I am safe, positive affirmations. I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. Everything with a 3, because anything that's said 3 times, we put the word out and then we give it that power of intention. It's a vibration. It goes out. We make our decrees. It does matter. It is real. It's real. So every time you say something 3 times, you are giving it that power. Think of it as the Holy Trinity, right? We're using that Holy Trinity intentionally for everything that we're doing, saying, intending, you know. All right, so lift our vibrations. Really have some faith. And this is covering the Wheel of Fortune here. Have some faith. There's a lot going on karmically. We have to like cleanse ourselves and spiritually ground. And have a little faith that things will be done fair, right? Because that Fool also touches this King of Pentacles. So have a little faith. There's a lot going on karmically. Have a little faith. Things will be fair. Eventually we're moving into a different time. We're clearing out a cycle. Have a little faith. Have a little faith in the day-to-day journey. Like, stop being so hyper-focused and just pull in a little free-spiritedness. You know, sing, dance, talk to your highest guidance. Have that faith. Look at the flowers. Listen to the birds sing. Listen to some music. But stop focusing so much on the physical. Like, we've got to take our minds off of what we don't have and what we don't want. We've got to have a little faith. And then we come over, and what covers our Fool is the Page of Pentacles, right? So the Fool is looking directly over to the Page, and The page represents fresh energy. So you guys know, for me, so the pages can be children, but for me, the absolute child card, depending on what it's set up and what we're asking the question about, would be that Page of Cups. This is the Page of Pentacles. So this is a fresh energy coming onto the earth plane. So have a little faith. The energy is changing here on the earth plane. The energy itself is changing here on the earth plane. And so as that energy changes here on the earth plane, we need to focus on maybe the energy more, focus on the earth a little bit more, getting that earthing and that spiritual grounding and the earthing, and really walk away from things that are emotionally upsetting. Shift the vibration by allowing for the earth's vibration, okay? All right? So allow that earth's vibration. So do your earthing along with your spiritual grounding. Allow that vibration to help shift things and heal that root chakra. So when you're doing your spiritual grounding, shifts vibration completely, and that vibration comes up through into your root chakra. So it helps to heal it, right? So if you do your spiritual grounding, you're going to be taking the energy from the center of the earth, and you're going to be pulling that up into your root chakra, which that 8 of Cups is all about. And you're going to be healing that area that keeps us feeling unsafe, in lack, that chakra being a mess can create wicked messes. People can be frigid or promiscuous. I mean, it does all sorts of shit. So, but it's really big on the safety and the courage and vitality. So, spiritually ground, pull up that energy from the earth, that fresh energy from the earth, because the earth is changing frequency into that root chakra, which helps to heal that root, right? Also do your earthing, so you're walking upon the top of the ground and getting that energy as well. But have a little faith and focus on, right, instead of being focused on how long it's taken, focus on the things on the earth plane that are abundant, that are beautiful. Focus on friends, focus on family, focus on yourself, focus on things that make you happy, focus on the animals, focus on nature. Make this main focus with that Page of Rods underneath here, coming right down to this 10 of Pentacles, which overlays both of this, more earth energy and the shifting of the earth. Focus on these things. Now that we're reading this way, if we focus on these things, that's going to lift our vibration up. That's going to pull our vibration up. That's going to shift perspective. It will shift our perspective. And we're needing a shift in perspective. We're needing balance. And we've got 3 number 4s. So the 4s are the work to do the balance. So work to shift our mindset, work to shift our vibration, work to shift our attitude. And with that 4 of Swords, and then with the 4 of Cups, work to focus on things that do make us feel good, work to not be distracted with things that don't make us feel good, doing the actual work, work to heal the emotions that are making you feel bad, work to walk away from that stuff that doesn't serve us, because 8, that's 2 4s, makes an 8, right? Work to do all of that stuff, right? And now we've got the 4 of Rods, celebrating, doing the work to find happiness, joy, celebrations, finding other people to connect with that will giggle with you and appreciate things with you. The physical work with the rods, So we got to do the mind work, the spiritual work, the energetic work. We've got to do the emotional work, and we've got to do the physical work to shift gears here, to bring our vibration up. And that's only fair that we do this work, is what they're saying. So we have these 3 do the work cards, do that work, you guys. And, so that's 4, 8, 12, right? And that breaks down into a 3. If we do the work, we'll find the joy. We'll feel the joy. The joy, it will be very rewarding. And then we have that sun card. Yeah. And that's what I was just saying. 4, 8, 3, 4, 8, 12 creates 3, which creates joy. And if we do this work, we're going to be celebrating. We're going to, with the sun, that's very karmic. We're going to be happy. We're going to feel warm, fuzzy, cozy inside. We'll have much to celebrate. We'll see the magic. We'll see the magic within the world. And that 21 with that sun also equals 3. And that's more joy, you guys. And then you add those 3s together, and that's 6. It's birthing something new. That's the love vibration, you guys. So we're really being asked to do a shift in gears here. Do our work to create our inner joy. And send that outward too, send that outward to others that we love. Take the time. If we make these things more of a focus rather than the things that we don't want, we're going to have a much better life, you guys. Okay? So let me just clarify. Have I done a good job reading the second part of the message? Please and thank you. The sun is covering the 4 of Cups, where you got to look up to see that 4 coming in from a higher perspective, that 4th cup coming in, that good feeling coming in from a higher perspective. So the sun is covering that cup. So we could start sun gazing more. The sun is covering the ending of a cycle. So, it wants us to celebrate what's being ended. The sun is covering the 4 of Rods, which is the celebration, coming together, working together. So the sun wants us to see the people that have been working to be fair. So the sun wants us to see and appreciate and feel joy for that. And that's only fair with that king lining up with these things. So, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Have I done a pretty good job delivering the secondary pieces of the message of the story that we just laid down? Please and thank you. One more shuffle, and we'll cut them. Another emotional, yes. So I did a good job relaying that secondary piece of this message. So very, very much the universe wants us healing ourselves, you guys. Doing our spiritual grounding, doing our earthing, redirecting our thoughts, our words, our focus, lifting our vibrations, not getting caught up in stuff that doesn't serve us and that brings us down emotionally, wants us to redirect and see things from a higher perspective, wants us to be more fair and be more in the now instead of always looking to what it is that we don't have. Be more in the now. Practice the attitude of gratitude. Do the work to do our inner healing with the cups. Do the work to do our spiritual and vibrational and psychological healing. Do the work to do our physical healing. Do the work to do the physical healing. Activate, physically heal yourself. Do the work. That can be found, lots of things in nature to help us physically heal. So activate, do the work, use your intentions. That's always, make your decrees, say it out loud, decree it 3 times. You know, do the work. Even if you don't have the money to buy supplements or better food or whatever, or to use some of the alternative healing modalities, at least do the work, activate your hands, set your verbal intentions, and put your hands upon yourself and set and say what it is you're doing. If you have a tumor, activate, put your hands on it and say, you know, state your decrees that your tumor is healed. And you know, state it 3 times. They want us doing more physical work. And, you know, we'll do the best that we can while this long journey goes on. It's the best that we can do. But I have delivered you the message in the way that they want me to deliver it. So we are the secondary message, because I got the yes with the strength card, right? So the secondary message to that is obviously that 8, connect. We are strong. We are strong. Tame that beast within ourselves. Ground heaven into earth. We are strong, you guys. So I don't know. They just really want to talk about our own healing and well-being today. And so I hope that you found some value in this. I'm sorry that it didn't give you, I don't think our guides really want us focusing on all of this bullshit to the point where it would, and our creator certainly doesn't, to the point where it's going to bring us down or make us feel like we're in lack more than, you know, if you weren't awake and you were in this situation and you didn't know about all of these things that they've hidden from us, right? If we didn't have that knowledge, let's just think about this for a minute, then we'd be figuring out a way with what we have, because we wouldn't know there was any other way. And so we would have 2 choices, like with cancer. Let's just take cancer and a disease for a minute, a dis-ease in the body. With cancer, it usually hits when people are kind of like they've lost their luster for life, and they just don't have that vitality for life anymore, the passion for life. And that's usually because over the years there's been these emotions, these traumas that have not been healed. And so there's always been a silent depression within the person that they may not share or talk about. It may not look as though they're depressed. They may look like the happiest, fairest, you know, their life is good, but there's this little piece inside of them that is depressed, that it's just always been sad, you know, and it's a lot to carry over time, and it will manifest itself into cancer. And so they call cancer like the cocooning disease, because it will cocoon you. And if you are able to desire the will to live enough to fight it, you're going to beat this shit, you're going to beat it, rather than giving into it. It's like you're this little caterpillar and you're in this cocoon of cancer and you're fighting to get out of it, because you've decided, wait a minute, I actually do love life. I do want to live. I want to be here. And you fought to break out of that cocoon. It's very transformative. And you've just transformed. And you see things differently. Every little thing then becomes a gift. I've seen it with my dad. You know, I've watched it with other people that I love, where every little thing becomes a gift. The problem is that the way they've done things, they have these people that have fought so hard to grasp onto life coming back for constant checks, which may or may not need to be done. I don't know. I know that my dad went every year for a long time and then every 5. But he would always come back to me and he would say, every time I go, I'm scared because, you know, I'm waiting to hear that it's back. And so they've instilled the fear so that people are afraid and they believe it's going to come back. And inevitably it does, because that's the fear and that's the focus, right? Like with that page of wand, focusing on that. So it then becomes the focus of being afraid that it's going to come back and wondering every day if it's back. And, you know, but they still have this love of life because they've transformed, that they had sort of lost or maybe hadn't carried since childhood. It's very transformative. Our team would like us to transform without going through that disease. I think, you know, it is the best way to say it. So let's all work together to transform, keep becoming, and, you know, keep sending that out to others. And maybe being there for others if you have somebody that's feeling a little bit down, just say to him, hey, you want to hold my hands for a minute and we'll just sit and talk? And just, you know, maybe share some energy. And I don't know, whatever it is that you do in your way that makes other people feel good. I know for me it was always touching. It's always been touching. Everybody always wanted to touch me and have me touch them. And, you know, also just listening to people and laughing with them, finding a way to get them to laugh. I don't know. We all have our own ways of whatever, but if you know somebody that's down, maybe that, you know, or just sending them the energy. Like I said, fill yourself up, see it going out, fill yourself up again. But whatever little part we can play in our own life and, you know, sending it out for others. All right, you guys, I love you all very much. I hope that you have an amazing Monday. Stay high vibing, stay in the love vibration. It's important right now. They've talked to us about it a couple of times, and that may be because things are going to seem more depressing, or you're going to hear more depressing words. But remember what we were told in one of the readings recently, the dark energies that, you know, have been roaming around this world and this earth, those that you cannot see, would love nothing more than to steal your light and lower your vibrations. Don't let them win. Don't let them win. Screw that shit. Don't let them feed off of you like that. Pull yourself up to a place where you'll feel better and be better and enjoy life more. So apparently it's really important. This is like the third, I think it's like the third talk we've had about it. So I always listen when I've got this stuff coming to me. Even if I've been happy, which I have been, working to stay in a good place, I take this advice and I go, okay, so it's needed that I go higher and do a little more work on myself. There's a reason. There's always a reason, you guys. So with that being said, I love you all. Stay high vibing, stay in the love vibration, and I will see you all very soon. Again, this is just what I'm getting. Important messages that the universe says are important according to them via the cards today. Take from it what you will. Toss the rest. I hope you did find a little value in it, and I will see you all very soon. All right, I love you. I'll see you. Bye.